The end goal of education is to grow in wisdom and to refine one's character and bring them closer to faith and to God. And that is the environment and the structure that Gutenberg is built on.
Life is hard, and Gutenberg realizes that as far as the staff and what we're taught, we're not taught to accept an idea that life is an easy thing and humanity is an easy thing to be a part of. And so Gutenberg is a great place for those who are wrestling with being human and are thinking about it.
Gutenberg is like a garden, and that our tutors are the gardeners.
The knowledge about the world that Gutenberg gives you is so important, it's so big, because as Christians it's so easy for us in our little culture to stay in our little box and be in our little Christian world and do our Christian things and have no interaction. I mean, I think some Christians are even encouraged to try not to interact with the world. But Gutenberg's given me a knowledge of why the world is the way it is. It's given me the ability to understand non-Christians, to understand why they think the way they do, why they have the political views they have.
Everything that Gutenberg College was saying that it was, I had written down in my journal as something I wanted to do. Like, gee whiz, I think it would be great if I got to sit somewhere with a ton of books and trace the history of ideas from the beginning of time till now, but I'll never have time to do that. But I think that's really important as far as me shaping what's actually real about Christianity.
I guess I find questions about Christianity important because I'm interested in finding out what I believe, what it is worth living for and dying for. What is reality all about? And also fundamentally what Christianity is, apart from its culture context, what biblical Christianity fundamentally is, and then applying that to your life.
I think that if we are to truly understand our faith and to be the best Christians that we can possibly be, we need to understand what we believe and why we believe it. And if we're truly interested in Christianity and living for God, we will also be interested in understanding those foundations and not staking claims on things that we don't understand. And Gutenberg offers that opportunity to build that skill, to ask those questions and to build that foundation.
Given the scope of Gutenberg's education, nothing is off limits. You can bring up or think about whatever it is you want to think about. That's what a discussion format really allows, is you can talk about whatever it is you would like. I mean, there is a certain momentum and a certain movement to a discussion that you'll soon find out if you come here. But nevertheless, within that context, you still can raise whatever issues it is that you choose to raise. Whatever is burning on your heart, you can talk about.
It may appear on the outside that way, I suppose, that the intellectual and is almost elevated over the Christian aspect of it. But what I find is that everything, that the air I breathe here is saturated with the truth and ultimate truth, the truth about Christianity, the truth about God.
I'm in a community of people here. I'm in a community of learners. I'm in a community of Christians, to which all individually are setting out to try and encounter God, to try and understand God and the world around them. That, just being in the midst of that, really allows you both the space to think through these issues and the determination and the conditioning to act on those, to give you the environment to act on the decisions you made, to follow up the thoughts that you have.
In observing the lives of the tutors, their spiritual life comes out, and it's very apparent that they live their lives by the scriptures and by the truth. And I think that affects what they teach and how they, the advice they give, and they impart a great deal of wisdom through that. And I think, I guess I would say for myself that I'm definitely a wiser person than I was 4 years ago.
Well, there's an intellectual freedom here at this school because the teachers regard themselves as students as well. And they see their task as simply being guides. I guess you'd say students who have just been in the process of learning themselves for a little bit longer than the rest of us.
First to question why Christianity holds this view at all, and then why does that apply to me? How does that apply to me? Why is that important? And I think that's one of the biggest things Gutenberg does for people. It's just to really make them explore why they believe what they've been taught.
People were really worried before I got to Gutenberg that I was going to become an intellectual dolt and I would just be focused on what I could figure out in my mind, which I can see, but I think it's given me great peace because God made me a whole person, someone who can love God with all their heart and all of their mind and all their soul and all their strength. And my mind was the thing that was pestering me the most because I had a brain and I was using it, but no one else seemed to be wanting me to pursue God with my brain as well. And so here at Gutenberg, I feel like I feel a lot of pressure being released from me because I'm actually able to look at God and go, wow, deeply you are kind.
Gutenberg teaches you to think critically, and those are skills that you're going to use forever. And whether you go to school right away or not, or never go to school again, those are very valuable skills you're going to use. And you're going to use those thinking skills in the professional world, and you're going to use them in your spiritual pursuits, in your Bible studies.
Truth holds up under scrutiny, it holds up under analysis, and ultimately that kind of truth is rock solid, and it's worth living and dying for.
I think being here where people aren't trying to force you into anything or force you to believe anything or to check your back to make sure you're living a righteous life really forces you to own your own decisions, to own the life you want to live, to be honest before God and realize that that's a struggle that you have between you and God.
I definitely know that my experience here has moved me closer to God, primarily in the sense that my commitment is stronger because I understand what the commitment to my faith is.
The people here by far influenced my walk with God and my understanding of Him more than anything, because that's how I've seen Him, is through the people in my hall who took it upon themselves to care for me and befriend me and love me before they even knew me. Through my experience at Gutenberg, Christ has become a very real, tangible figure in my life. And I have realized that I am an individual and Christ was a real human figure in this history of human experience that God set in the midst of us. And I have realized through my experience at Gutenberg how real that figure of Christ is, and that I can relate to that figure. And Christ has become very real in my life, and much more real than he was 4 years ago.
Gutenberg is soul food. It's food for the soul.